From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. The 49ers didn't give up a single offensive touchdown, but Nick Mullins is our quarterback, so we choked and lost.
Yeah, one time I got my thingy stuck in my zipper, and I get that same feeling when I watch Nick Mullins play quarterback.
I sure hope the doctors left you some extra skin.
My word.
It didn't go well.
Oh, man, this is... what else can you do other than laugh? This was horrendous in every possible way. Nick Mullins literally scored, I think, more points than the Washington football team did on offense, and almost more than we did offensively. It was quite the impressive showing by Nick Mullins for the other team. I don't know if you guys knew this. The W in Washington football team is actually an upside-down M. They're the Washington Mullins. They're not even the football team.
This was a complete and utter just terrible performance. I thought that, right off the bat with Deebo Samuel getting hurt on the reel, that's not good for the 49ers, and it was bad. You could tell the offensive game plan had to switch. And Nick Mullins just always looked a little bit off. Yes, there was pass rush, but not early on. The running game was going. He had opportunities. He was missing receivers. Kendrick Bourne can still not catch. Can somebody please get this guy some stickum? It was not good to watch. The 49ers defense was the complete bright spot in this game. Horst, how did this come to pass? How did the 49ers, and 2 turnovers on fumbles, another one interception. What is going on with the 49ers offense?
Just awful performance, and I don't like to be that guy that blames one guy, but it really all comes back to Nick Mullins today. I haven't been on him like this in weeks prior, but especially at the start of the game, like you said, the run game was working. They had the offense moving the ball, and it just seemed like every time we needed a first down, a completion, he would throw the ball 2 feet above the person or behind him. And I know Greg Jennings was trying to claim that the receiver should catch the ball. It's really hard to catch a football when you're running full speed one way and the ball's behind you the other way, or 2 feet or a foot above your head. Yes, they get their hands on them because they're tremendous athletes, but that's a lot harder to do than it looks to make those catches. And the only bright spot I really saw on offense was obviously always Trent Williams, but besides him was Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk continues to step up and make plays when they need them. Mostert played all right. He left for a while hurt, but he ran the ball all right. But basically, once again, the Redskins realized about midway through the first quarter that they had no fear of Mullins throwing the ball more than 5 yards, and brought their whole defense up and dared him to throw. And they couldn't. And that was the end of the Niners moving the ball. It's been like this every week for 4 weeks now? 5 weeks? The defenses are doing the same thing over and over to him, and they cannot move the ball. And at this point, you have to wonder why they don't give C.J. Beathard a chance. I'm not saying C.J. Beathard's some world beater or will come out there and play any better than Mullins. But at this point, at 5-8, why not give the guy a shot? Because Mullins clearly ain't it.
Yeah, he's not it. You have to think, we joke about it. Maybe Mullins has some dirt or something on Shanahan. He's got something he's holding over his head and he's just like...
Either that or he's secretly Shanahan's kid. And,
maybe.
You see this in youth football all the time.
Hey, you got to point out, Shanahan's beard's been graying pretty. Maybe he's not as young as we all think he is. But the truth of the matter is, too, with this, there's some serious questions on the offensive line as well. With Brunskill having to play center, You got McKivitz having to play guard. McGlinchey looks like a shell of his former self. He struggled heavily today. He didn't struggle as much as other weeks, but he had some crucial bad plays on downs where we needed the offensive line to shore up, and the holding call where he gets beat off the edge was bad. Now, granted, this is a really good front five, front seven from the Washington football team, but we didn't struggle like this against elite front fives and front sevens like this last year. Some of that may be on Mullins, and probably is heavily on Mullins. At the end of the day, when we don't have Deebo Samuel in, we don't really have anything else that we can do because we get more one-dimensional in terms of how we can run the football. Nick Mullins can't hit the broadside of a barn. You would think Greg Jennings, you brought it up, you would think Greg Jennings would have a better understanding of how hard it is to catch a football when the quarterback misses you by 3 or 4 yards or puts the ball 3 or 4 yards above your head in space, seeing as he played wide receiver. But apparently he's forgotten in his time.
Or he's just a terrible commentator.
There's that too, potentially, and most likely just that. Man, just an awful performance today by Mullins. And just his performance alone brings the whole mood down and the whole tempo down because, in all honesty, the defense played great today.
Like I said, I hate to be the pick on one guy, but if your quarterback plays that poorly, the rest of the offense does not have an opportunity to play well.
Well, I think you can always put blame, right, on different groups of the offense, and I think that they all can share some of the blame. Kendrick Bourne dropped passes, the offensive line missed blocks, the running backs made bad reads, or in Jeff Wilson's case, fumbled the football. Oh. So everyone has some blame. But at some point, we've got to be real and realize that we can't keep covering for Nick Mullins. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that these defenses now understand, and that's what makes it hard for the offensive line. We can't run the ball like we used to. They are loading the box because they know there's absolutely no way that Nick Mullins can beat them. And because of that, we have nobody going down the field. So it's all short to intermediate routes. He stares down his receivers. He doesn't read coverage right. The only thing that they get open are in-cutting routes, and he sails them. He leads the receivers too far. So a lot of it comes to Mullins. There's still situations I believe he doesn't get the team into the right play where they're running plays to the outside, and that's such. Same with the Wilson play where he fumbles. I do not believe that was the right play. They should have adjusted, and once again, if it's not there, they got to use a timeout. So once again, I think this is what it's all coming down to. When you can pack the box, stuff the run, and you have no fear of a quarterback making plays to beat you, then that's all you have to do. There's nothing else left to do, and that's why they keep blitzing him and everything. And he tried. He got outside the pocket. It's not that he doesn't try, but he just doesn't have it. And if you don't have it, it's time to see what else you have on the bench.
And the NFL is not a participation trophy league. It's not a participation trophy sport. Professional football at this level, it's not, oh, he tried his best, he did his darndest, and we should all just be okay with that. No, at the end of the day, our defense tried their best today and performed at a high level. Ayuk showed up today and performed at a high level. When you have at least, Wisnowski and the punt team, the long snapper at the end of the game after a questionable fourth down punt on a 4th and 1, when their offense hasn't done anything. So if at worst case scenario you're giving them the ball back, we punt the ball. Special teams, 2/3 of the game today did their jobs, and I would even say 90% of the offense did their job for the most part. And one guy for 4 quarters consistently let you down.
I think Kendrick Bourne, you can add to that, because he
Correct.
dropped early in that game. He dropped a pass over the middle.
And Wilson fumbled.
The fumble, but once again, I don't think that's the play that should have been, because somebody got upfield real quick and made him kind of adjust. But yeah, there is something bad going on with that. But I would like to ask you guys a question, because 2 running backs were pretty much gone, missing the entire game, that are active. One of them is Tevin Coleman, yet Tevin Coleman is running as a gunner on the punt team. So that means he's healthy enough to play. He's just not getting to play running back. I think I've seen him line up a couple of times.
Yeah.
What is
and
up
I know
with
I've
that?
seen McKinnon pedaling the bike over there at one point on the sideline.
I mean,
I don't know. Why is Wilson in split out wide over McKinnon?
Yeah. I mean, that might have been the only commentating point Greg Jennings made all game that was actually accurate. It was very accurate. It was very accurate. Jet McKinnon is your sure-handed 3rd down receiving back. Why do you have Jeff Wilson out there? That's not his role. That's not his strength. Correct. It's not. The only thing I can think is that Shanahan's just done. He's done with those guys. Tevin Coleman, he's seen all he needs to see. He's not going to be back. There's nothing else he can really contribute. He doesn't feel he can contribute anything. Same thing with Jet. There's nothing more you can show me. There's nothing you can do. But, I mean, in all honesty, you got to give these guys a shot at certain times. When Mostert went down, I was expecting to see some Tevin Coleman going in there and mixing it up with Jeff Wilson. And the fact that he never even really sniffed the field and got touches is baffling.
Yeah. The whole thought with me was always that Tevin wasn't 100%, but the fact that he's playing special teams and playing gunner
and the first guy down there.
Yeah, that makes me think that it's just a Kyle Shanahan decision. I don't like to question Kyle Shanahan a whole lot, but I would like to question him a lot on some of the play calls that he made in this game. I thought that it lacked creativity most of the game. I thought that he was very predictable, and that's something that's bad when you can sit there and know what play is coming before it happens. If I know sitting here watching the game, then I guarantee that the other team knows, who has studied film extensively more than I have. And I just think it's time for Kyle to figure something out. You know what? If you're gonna lose, just go out with a bang. Just try, do whatever you can. I thought they when they had 2-minute drill going with Nick Mullins, it actually worked for the most part, and it would just disappear. It would go away. It wasn't frequent. I don't know. It was hard to watch. Robert Saleh has the defense locked in. Last week was a defensive loss. This week was a complete offensive blunder. And I mean, 17 points is enough to completely think about that. The Washington football team didn't have to do anything. All the Niners had to do in this game was not turn over the ball, and they would have won. That's how simple it was.
And to go on your Mullins and the 2-minute drill thing, I actually just saw probably this week a reporter mention that apparently Mullins operated exclusively out of the gun 2-minute at Southern Miss. Obviously, he was a successful college quarterback, or he wouldn't have gotten an opportunity in the NFL. Why not mix some of that in if that makes him more comfortable?
I mean, it all depends on your personnel and stuff as well. And I know they know that Nick, we'll see, I think that's the thing, is Kyle Shanahan knows that Nick Mullins can't consistently win. And if you, like today, they threw the ball over 40 times. That's not a recipe for success.
With Mullins
at quarterback.
No.
Or with Jimmy. But the difference is, Jimmy has proven that he can do that and win the football game.
Yes.
Nick Mullins has not proven that he can do that and win the football game.
Ever. It's never happened.
Yeah. It's not there. And I think that today I kind of thought in the fourth quarter we were going to see a CJ Beathard. And when we didn't, I was kind of irritated because why not? You know what I mean? Why not see what he's got?
You're not going to win that game with Mullins. Mullins had already shown you that up to that point through 3 quarters, after the pick 6 to end the third. He's not going to win you the game. It's time to give yourself the best chance to win, and Mullins is not the best chance to win. He's the reason why you're in the hole in the first place.
And we had some key matchups in this game. Horst, what was your offensive key matchup? Did the 49ers execute? I'm going to go on a limb and say probably not, because if they would have executed, more than likely they would have won. But Horst, what was your offensive key matchup in this game?
Our offensive key matchup was Kyle Shanahan's play calling versus Jack Del Rio, the Washington football team's defensive coordinator. I'm going to go ahead and take a big fat L. I mean, they held the Niners to 14 points?
15,
excuse me.
Can't forget that big 2-point conversion, completion to Kendrick Bourne.
And
where he almost didn't see him and saw him at the very last minute.
And for a lot of the game, the Niners didn't move the ball at all. Just a poor performance offensively. Definitely can't give Shanahan the win there.
No, you can't give him the win. And my key matchup was Raheem Mostert versus the game script. And we talked about how Raheem Mostert didn't necessarily have control over the game script, and today that is 100% accurate. He had no control over the game script. He also went out with an injury for a little bit, which didn't help his possibilities of being in the game and getting touches. He looked good at the start of the game. Like Horst had pointed out earlier, the run game looked like it was clicking on all cylinders very early on. Once he went down, run game stalled. Jeff Wilson fumbled. We got ourselves into a hole. And then from there, the game script was negative. You're not going to get a lot of looks for touches. You're not going to be looking to run the ball a whole lot. And we weren't. We weren't looking to get the run game going because we needed to get the ball down the field and try and find a way to put points on the board. And then when we did try and get the run game going. They were stacking the box, as you have been talking about, Ant, and been pointing out. So it's really hard to run when you got 9, 10 guys in the box, and they're sending all 10 guys and daring Mullins to beat you with one-on-one throws 10 yards down the field, which he's shown he can't do consistently. So yeah, big fat L for Raheem Mostert versus the game script.
Yeah, my key matchup was Jordan Reed versus the world. And I think Jordan Reed showed the intensity and fire that he had when Mullins completely missed him. And he went, on the sidelines and just, he let everyone know this is not his quarterback. This is not what he signed up for. He doesn't think, Mullins has anything. He's French fries short of a Happy Meal. And when it comes down to it, Jordan Reed didn't get opportunities. Once again, Nick Mullins cannot find the biggest target on the field. He can complete passes to Ross Dwelley. He can complete passes to Kendrick Bourne when he catches them. He can find everyone else. He looks for Wilson for no reason all the time, but he cannot get it to Jordan Reed.
3rd and short going to Charlie Warner, by the way. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And he looked at him the whole time.
My Lord. And how do you miss Bostic there? Standing behind, waiting.
He just didn't look.
Lurking.
I mean, that's one of the things. Now, one thing I will say, because Horse key matchup was Kyle Shanahan versus Del Rio, and I think that we need to, because I am critical of Kyle Shanahan's play calling, and we call him the chess master. Imagine him coming into games, or imagine yourself going into a chess match without your queen to start, and then during your rook is gone because Deebo Samuel gets hurt. All of a sudden, you're in a big hole. And I think that's what's happening sometimes with Kyle Shanahan. These injuries are really affecting him. And the biggest one is just going in without a legitimate quarterback. And that's why Kyle Shanahan can't be as successful. And we need to address that in the offseason. That's going to be the number one. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care even if Jimmy Garoppolo comes back. The 49ers need to look at another avenue to make sure that they are taken care of for the future. Because Kyle Shanahan without a quarterback is a complete waste.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to go on to what our defensive key matchups were. Alex, what was your defensive key matchup for the game?
Okay, my defensive key matchup was our D-line versus the Bionic Man. Technically, this is a win because he had the muscle soreness. He wasn't able to go in. I was really worried about Alex Smith on the sideline when I saw him wrapping up the leg with what looked like a heating pad, and they were stretching him out. I was getting a little concerned. I was like, I don't know if you should be going back in there, man. They got him out. They were managing it. Obviously, he wasn't healthy enough and good enough to go. I'm happy to see the Washington football team taking care of players, finally. Good job, guys. Way to go. You learned. You almost killed Trent Williams, but you figured it out with Alex Smith. Great job, guys. But technically, I mean, in reality, it's a win for the D-line. They did get pressure on Smith a good chunk of the game. When Smith went out and Dwayne Haskins went in, they were able to get pressure on Dwayne Haskins. Deion Jordan with the big sack at the end of the game. Kerry Hyder was in faces all day long. Kinlaw was getting pressure and being a big force against the run game. Overall, solid performance from the D-line. Shame that it was wasted.
I did enjoy that Saleh kept dropping a defensive tackle in zone blitzes.
That was nice.
He was only rushing 3 a lot of times and dropping a defensive lineman. The 49ers missed DJ Jones and Kevin Givens in this game. I think that was evident. But it was a good game plan by him, and you were right that was going to be a solid key matchup, and the 49ers executed. And what was interesting was Armstead started inside this game. He played defensive tackle. They started Deion Jordan on the outside, and actually the very first play that Alex Smith dropped back, Deion Jordan got a hit on the quarterback. And I thought that kind of set the tone for the defense. Now, my key matchup on defense was the 49ers secondary clamping down on these receivers and not allowing the checkdowns that Alex likes to hit. The 49ers did it pretty much all game long. There were moments where they had plays, but by the most part, you saw they were clamping down, forcing Alex Smith to try to take shots down the field, which ended up being overthrows and interception. And the same thing with Haskins. You know, he had the same struggles with the checkdowns, just weren't there, and they were really clamping down. Dre Greenlaw made some great plays on the running back coming out of the backfield. But I thought overall that was a key matchup. If the 49ers offense wasn't a complete joke, they would have won this game because the defense executed. So yeah, the key matchups for you and for me were definitely W's. The only problem is it was a big dub for the Washington football team on offense. Horst, what you got for your defensive key matchup?
My defensive key matchup was the 49ers linebackers and defensive backs making tackles on the Redskins skill players in space because we knew Alex Smith was going to check the ball down a lot. For the most part, they did. The first guy there made the tackle most of the time, which is a great sign against them. Once again, I think all three of us can say that the defense definitely is not the reason they lost this game.
No.
I have nothing bad to say about the way the defense played. I thought there wasn't a standout guy that played poorly to me.
I think maybe your key matchup should have been offensive players making tackles on turnovers, because if they'd have made tackles, this defense would have stopped them and the 49ers would have won.
Way to give up my previous show. Offensive key matchup. It was going to be the Niners offensive line tackling the Cowboys defensive back.
How about Nick Mullins getting some speed and actually being able to catch somebody?
Or just recognizing that the guy he's throwing the ball at is on the other team, not our team.
Yeah, but you've turned and ran this way.
I think you're asking too much. He knew Washington's probably going to have a open spot at the quarterback position next year. Thought, hey, I'll show him what happens when I throw the Washington football team.
Hey, River Ron, check this out.
By the way, we talked about his play calling a minute ago with Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
I know the play did not happen. I can't remember if there was a penalty or Mullins bumbled up. They tried to run a screen to River Craycraft. And that bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers
Why?
me too.
What's wrong with River Craycraft?
He might be a better option than Kendrick Bourne.
I mean, you gotta go with what you got. You know?
They have Richie James.
Maybe Richie James needed a break. You could have just rode the river. Could have been right down. You know what? Imagine if they'd have completed that. It could have been a touchdown.
In the quote of my friend I watched the game with, River Craycraft looks like an 8th grade Pop Warner player in a varsity high school player's uniform.
Nice one, Goose.
Yeah, but what if he executes and is a good player?
We've seen him not execute.
He's spicy. I like him.
Speaking of executing, you need to go execute right now. Scroll down into the comments section. Let us know what you think of our key matchups. Like the video. Subscribe if you're not already. Why wouldn't you be subscribed? And then don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of these episodes or who the Sawft player is going to be.
Yep.
It's time.
S-A-W-F-T,
So there's so many options for Sawft player of the week this week. The 49ers were soft on offense. I don't think we could find someone on defense, but they were very soft on offense. And I believe that the Sawft player, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this, but I'm going to give the Sawft player award to Kendrick Bourne. Could not catch open passes. He was wide open, can't catch. I thought a couple of them were pivotal, especially one early in the first half. If he'd have caught it, it could have been big. Also, the celebration on 4th down where they come up short, which Alex is portraying right now. Yeah, it's too much. If you're going to be that,
not even a yard short. He was like 3 to 4 yards.
I mean,
short.
I think it's come to the point. If you're going to be that sort of personality on the field, you better back it up.
You better be the best. You better be the best player on the field, or at least the best receiver on the field. And he is not close to any of those things.
No. Horst, is that going to be your guy, or you got a different guy in mind?
I hate to do it because I like him. I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan.
Whoa.
For continuing to go with Nick Mullins at quarterback when everyone watching the game can see that he's not getting the job done. For not going for it on 4th and 1 from the 50. Continual soft play calls today. I love Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a fantastic coach. But I got pretty irritated at him watching the game today.
Agreed.
100% agreed. I can't believe he did it, though. I can't believe he pulled the trigger on it. I mean, I have to do it now because if I don't give this guy here a Sawft player, I think every single person watching this video is going to flip the laptop, throw the phone, swear at us, leave us a mean comment in the comment section.
Oh, was it Jimmy?
Yeah, totally, Jimmy. I don't want you to do that. It's fine. I'll hit it for him. I think both of you are correct. But I have to give it to the guy who literally cost us the game, and Nick Mullins. He did absolutely nothing good for the offense. Even good big plays downfield were bad throws. The one-handed grab by Ayuk. That last catch, by the way, the last catch that Kendrick Bourne had, incredible catch. One-handed, I know he was 4 yards short, but one-handed grab moving the other direction. Nick Mullins couldn't find ocean. Like, he couldn't find the ocean standing in the boat with nothing but water around him. He was awful today, god-awful. He was 100% a Sawft player. He was 100% a Sawft quarterback. He was the MVP for the Washington football Mullinses.
Yeah,
Great job,
it's
Nick.
crazy because you
Great
bring those
job.
up, and Kendrick Bourne did have a few plays where he made great catches. The real problem is there's just no consistency with him. He drops wide open plays, and you can't have that. And I think the 49ers have really missed that second receiver. When Debo's not there, the 49ers really don't have another option. And the tight end position, they can't get Jordan Reed the ball because Nick Mullins can't throw it to him for some reason. I don't know if it's a mental block or what it is.
Is there any chance that he was like, he hated Terrell Owens as a child?
You
Is there
just can't
any
throw to
possibility? He
81.
sees 81, he's like, I can't do it. Can't do it.
I honestly don't know what it is.
Way to go, T.O.
don't
Still
know, but
ruining this team years later. And now, we're going to go to our new segment. Would you rather? We have a question today. Today's Would You Rather is going to be based centrally on the game today or something involving the team that happened within this last week. Horace, we'll start with you. What do you got for us for Would You Rather?
Would you rather, at quarterback, have Nick Mullins or Blaine Gabbert?
Oh, jeez Louise, man.
I spit hot fire.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna probably go with it's still so recent. Just this loss, I'm gonna have to go with Blaine Gabbert. And the only reason is because I was actually at a San Francisco 49ers game against the Baltimore Ravens, in which Blaine Gabbert was a starting quarterback, and we won. We won a game. So I've physically been in Levi Stadium and with my own eyeballs seen Blaine Gabbert win a football game. I've seen it. I have not ever witnessed it with Nick Mullins recently here.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's that hard of a decision. I would pick Blaine Gabbert as well. He's more athletic. He actually has more physical tools than Nick Mullins. So Nick Mullins hasn't proven that he can throw the ball downfield consistently. Blaine Gabbert's at least got a strong arm and he can throw the ball downfield.
He can.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like choosing between a trash can and a dumpster fire, but, whatever works. I would just take Gabbert in that case.
It was beautiful.
Poetic, right?
Horse though,
I'm
do you have an
taking
answer to
C.
this?
I would run the single wing.
on the single one, no
And
quarterback
send
at
them
all.
both to the bench.
That's not a bad option either. Okay, guys, in all seriousness, would you rather us not win another game the rest of the season or smack the Dallas Cowboys next week?
Smack the Dallas Cowboys. I grew up hating the Dallas Cowboys. I will always hate the Dallas Cowboys as a 49er fan. Anytime you get an opportunity to beat the Dallas Cowboys, I want them to win. I'm sure that's not exactly the most popular opinion, but when you're a fierce 49er fan like I am, I take the losses to certain teams very serious. I don't like losing to the Seahawks. I don't like losing to the Cowboys. I don't like losing to the Rams. And anytime that the 49ers lose to them, it stings. And so, yeah, those are rivals for the 49ers. You don't want to lose rivalry games. I want to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I want a good draft pick too. But yeah, I know too many Cowboys fans with big mouths for the Niners to drop that game. Not you, Dave. You're always cool. Love you. But all the other Cowboys fans I know have big mouths, and I won't hear the end of it. And like he said, rivalry games, I don't care. Just like if they play the Seahawks at the end of the year and it affects their draft pick, I'm still wanting them to win that game. I can't stand them have to win.
There's not a game left on the schedule that I want us to lose. I'm already starting to see the post now. It's like now that the playoffs we're not statistically eliminated, but it's pretty much just a foregone conclusion that we're not going to make it. Sit everybody, just play all your backups. Let's lose out the rest of the way. No. No. You got the Cardinals. You got the Seahawks. You got Cowboys. I want no part of an Andy Dalton Cowboys win that gives them a chance to get into the playoffs or get themselves back into contention in the NFC East. No, Let's just shut it down right now. Smack this team. Bury them. Let's have a celebration. We'll wear cowboy boots and cowboy hats and have a good time.
Yeehaw.
Exactly. Yeehaw all the way. Ant, what do you got for Would You Rather?
So the Would You Rather is going to kind of be a little bit of a look ahead. And it's going to be this. Would you rather have a scenario where you have... Let's put the scenario that Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. So we're in 2021 and he's gone.
Okay.
Would you rather have Dak Prescott on a big contract or Zach Wilson and a holdover veteran quarterback, Jameis Winston?
All right, am I going first? I would rather have Zach Wilson in a holdover. I do like Dak. I'm not like some of you fans that think Dak's garbage and all that. I think Dak's actually a really good football player. But I think Zach Wilson's going to be a special football player. And especially in Kyle Shanahan's system, I really like him. Not to mention he's going to be making $8 million.
What if I make the amendment that you have to have Mullins as the transition quarterback?
I'll take Dak.
Yeah, I'll take Dak 100%. If Mullins is the quarterback that's the holdover veteran, then you take Dak Prescott.
If Mullins is on the team.
Yeah. If Mullins is on the team, I want Shanahan and Lynch potentially gone.
No, but go back to the original question.
In the original question, this one for me is a no-brainer because the key for me was when you said Dak on a big contract. Dak on a big contract coming off the ankle injury with all the other guys that we need to pay still to potentially keep on the roster and build this team out. No. You go with the young guy and a veteran holdover, a guy like Jameis who isn't going to command a bunch of money because he's still, after a year with the Saints and not having done much, and we saw what he did against the 49ers, he's not going to get a lot of money. He's not going to get paid much. Zach Wilson, although he is flying up draft boards and getting up really high, teams still may not take it. We might be able to get him late in the first round or even second round if something were to happen and some other guys fly up the draft boards and quarterback just becomes a non-big issue for teams in the middle of the pack. So there's still a chance that you could get him fairly late and get him on a really cheap deal. I would say that would be the route to go with because you could have a guy like Jameis in there who, while I'm not a big Jameis Winston fan, unlike my counterpart over here, Mr. Anthony Robertson, and I don't know, Horace, how do you feel about Jameis?
I think Jameis has a world of potential.
Okay, there you go. World of potential. I don't look at Jameis the same way. I don't like his decision making. I think his potential is diminished by his inability to make proper and good decisions and take care of the football. I do believe, though, that the thing Jameis can bring to the table would be teaching a young quarterback and showing him how to push the ball downfield and take chances and make plays, because Jameis can do those things. It's just that sometimes he tries to make plays that he shouldn't. And that's a thing that's going to fall on Kyle Shanahan to curtail those things. And, in all honesty, Shanahan's a good enough coach. He might be able to work some wonders with a guy like Jameis and give him the start he needs to turn his career around and get a big contract somewhere else, because he wouldn't be a long-term option for us. He's a short-term solution.
If you want the argument that he was poorly coached, look at how poorly Tom Brady's playing with Arians.
That is true.
Yeah, I think that I would probably go the Zach Wilson route as well.
Yeah.
Mainly because I think that the 49ers are going to be pretty close to where he's going to be drafted. They could definitely move up, and make a move to get him. If Robert Saleh leaves, they're going to have an additional third-round pick. So there is two, but one in this draft. So there will be options for them. Especially once Richard Sherman leaves and goes with Robert Saleh wherever he goes. It's probably going to happen. But
putting it out there now.
I am putting it out there now. And I think, though, that the 49ers could win with a Zach Wilson kind of quarterback. You see, he can already play better than Nick Mullins. So I think you can get a better performance. And the 49ers are in games now with a lesser quarterback. They could definitely win with a rookie quarterback. It's been proven. I would rather have a big-time quarterback, but the money that you will save by going with a rookie quarterback is huge, and that could help you bring back a lot of players that you need. You already have to pay Fred Warner big-time money. Make sure to watch the next episode. It's going to be airing at 5:30 Pacific on Friday. We're going to have a very special guest, a Cowboys fan who is a lifelong friend, and a friend of pretty much all of us, I think. We all enjoy him. He's a big-time fan. He knows all about the Cowboys, and we're going to break it down with him. We're going to have a lot of fun, and you need to be here to check it out because it's going to be must-see YouTube television. And
must-see YouTube TV.
And, what else? You can listen on all Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Pods, wherever you listen. You can listen. You can check it out. It's fun.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, while we aren't playing for the playoffs, if you're a real, true red and gold-blooded Niners fan, this is still a big week. Cowboys week is a big week. I don't care what, it's a throw the records out the window situation. This is a game you always want to win.
Rivalry games, you know how that is, Horst.
I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Said it. I don't feel bad about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely it's going to be something fun to break down too, because just the matchups. You kind of got the red rifle over there. He's going to be throwing passes, but they have great receivers, so there's going to be mismatch problems for the 49ers on defense.
Yeah.
Because I still worry about that receiving core getting behind Uncle Sherm and Tarvarius Moore also having some issues in coverage, so that's going to be a problem. And also, they still got Zeke, so the key. It should be an offensive shootout, except we have Nick Mullins.
What we're talking about, it will be an offensive shootout. There's going to be a lot of points getting put up on the board. It's just there's a potential that Nick Mullins is going to put up a lot of points for the other team.
Andy Dalton's hair color is the same color as the dog's. That's all I got to say.
Is it? You've been examining
Red Rocket or Red Rifle?
Oh, I thought you said Red Rocket.
They're different. No, he said Red Rifle. So see the joke?
Dude, do you know anything can happen in a rivalry?
It's true.
Last game of the year.
Can't hold anything back.
How many times I'm going to say that?
You can't hold anything back. It's a fun week. It's a passionate week. Faithful. This is a week to be the most faithful. These Cowboys, man. These darn Cowboys. There's a rich, storied history with this rivalry. A lot of big games have come in the playoffs. A lot of big moments. Dynasties have been created off these matchups that they played against each other. This right here is a battle for the future, basically the future of both organizations. What direction are you going? Uphill, downhill? The door and the window, some people say is closing for the 49ers. I think it's open. I think it's wide open. I think this is a game for us to get back on track and prove how open it truly is, because this is a team that has a high-powered offense even when Dak's not in the lineup.
Any chance we get the 94 throwback uniforms for this one?
God, I hope so.
That'd be kind of nice to see.
This
It'd be
team
glorious.
doesn't deserve to wear this uniform.
I mean, Nick Mullins doesn't deserve
The
to wear
defense
uniforms.
deserves it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe the defense can wear them, but the offense just wears normal.
Or Nick Mullins has to go out in a penny. Nice little practice uniform.
We're going to put Nick Mullins in the black uniform.
Why don't we just put him in a Cowboys uniform? Might as well. At this point. Just put him in the opposing team's uniform because he's not a 49er. He's not doing anything to help this team.
Yeah, so the 49ers are probably out of the playoffs. I think that's what we've come to. Besides them winning out and everyone else losing out, it's going to be out of the question. But it doesn't mean that they can't present us some joy by beating the Cowboys, Cardinals and Seahawks. Maybe we can get a little bit of enjoyment from messing up their playoff hunt. It's always nice to be spoilers, right, Horse?
Yeah, I told you that this team could finish anywhere between 4-12 and 14-2, and that's right where they're finishing.
Whoa, that's really bold.
So, I mean, I hit it on the money.
Sliding scale.
Absolutely.
So the laughs will be flowing. We're going to have a great time. Make sure you're here. It's going to be fun. The 49ers versus the Cowboys. We are still going to have a lot of energy. We're still going to be excited about this. And I know we want the 49ers to win. And I'm sure Dave wants the Cowboys to lose.
He does.
He does, and gosh, I feel for him. It's been a rough year for the Cowboys, and hopefully the 49ers can make it just a little bit tougher.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Let's chalk another one up.
I still hate the Redskins.
Shout out Redskins haters out there. Thanks for the views.
The way his forehead is shaped, it looks like he's wearing a helmet, even when he's not. Like his forehead looks pushed down. bothers me.
Yep. That's the thing that bothers you? That's the thing that bothers you about Nick Mullins?
One
One of many.
of the second is that anyone would marry him.
Oh, no.
Anyone would marry
I'm
him?
surprised he didn't miss his wife's finger with the ring at the wedding.
It's a solid point, actually.
I said it.
Hey, guys, did you know that spoilers spoil things?
I didn't know that.
When you do that, you kind of look like Officer Doofy from Scary Movie.
Don't come in when I'm cleaning my room.
Is it the nose?
Wow. I think I would take a cheap shot like that at you.
Never. You would never do that. You're the greatest friend a podcast cohort could ask for. Tell you what.
That's very accurate.